There you go.
Hi guys, welcome to our channel, Zen Ascension. How are you all doing? I am Claire Thackray and this is Ian Robinson. We're here again, all bombs are polished. We've got our tools out, our tools are all here.
I've got a lemon. Can I use that as a bomb?
Not that lemon coming out again. Lemon's coming out. You love your lemons.
I like my lemon.
You can use lemons in shamanic healing though. Right, today we're talking about the dark and spiritual protection. But when we say the dark, it's not about getting locked and trapped in the dark. Because often in the spiritual community, when people mention the dark, it's like, the whole world's dark. The whole world isn't dark. It's just, it's nice and sensible to be aware of it. And these are the different ways in which you can get through it, either via healing sessions or self-care. Okay, over to you, Ian.
Oh, thank you.
Nearly took it over then, this video.
See, you can do an introduction. Introduction? What introduction?
I know, you should share this story with them. What introduction, Ian?
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. We've each got a collection of bits that we've used, that we've accumulated over, I suppose, many years of working in various fields of healing and reading and what have you. So I've got a few bits. Well, I've got quite a few bits here. I know Claire's got a few bits there as well that we're going to talk about and discuss, and how we've used them ourselves. Should I do all of my bits first and then you do your bits after, or do you want to go through bits individually, one each?
I don't know. We'll see how it flows.
We'll just see how it flows.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, it's about understanding ways of being able to work with darkness and being aware of it, and being able to step away from it and look at it in different aspects. And also, within every bit of darkness there is also light, so it's finding the light within the darkness and exposing it. And sometimes within attachments and entities, you can see, even though it may perceive to be darkness or something dark, and it's a bit like I suppose haunted properties and demonic beings that might be in properties, they all do have a spark of light inside them. And so it's about making them understand their light as well, and seeing it from within rather than the outer. And a lot of people, I think, I've seen this a lot actually on a few spiritual pages on Facebook and supernatural pages, where people have moved into a house and all sorts of stuff started going off and they don't know what it is, and someone's recently passed away, but there's all sorts of crap going on around the house. There's things being thrown, they can hear growling, and they're all like jumping to the conclusion that it's something dark and demonic. But it's about just being present with it and trying to understand what it is, and sometimes just speaking to whatever may be there or whoever may be there, and try to get some sort of communication going, or signals from whatever it may be. And I know not everybody will be up for that, and I wouldn't have been years ago. I would have been probably shit scared and just ran out. Whereas now it's kind of like, it's having an understanding. And that's why we need to do these sorts of videos and talk about it. So we do have an understanding, and we also have our own armory that we can look to use in the future.
Yeah, and I think as well, not being scared, which is easier said than done. And I think I had to learn that as part of my shamanic training, that you're not to show, even if you think, oh my God, is to not show your fear, because they can feed off fear. But with homes, a good trick, not trick, a good hack, okay, is, you know, when you're moving somewhere new, so if there's an anchored spirit there and they're totally anchored, they're not just, because you can have spirits sort of dipping in and out, they'll revisit the home and they'll go back to source, that's healthy. But if you've got a spirit that either died there or was murdered there, or they've died by an illness and they can't go off, or they're just missing the point of going off, when we move into that house, they see us as a burglar. So that's why a lot of the time when you go into these houses, they can throw things at you, or they can push you, or they can punch you, or they can object knives. There's some really crazy stories. It's because they see you as that. So when you move into somewhere new, it's about, I'll be doing it in a couple of weeks, where it's about walking through the door, not as this is my house. It's with, but walking in with respect, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's a bit like if they were there to hand you the keys. So if you go in and go, out the way, I'm here, then they're going to kick off.
Yeah.
As well, it's weird. It is weird, and there's no right answer for it. So it's about respecting the house, respecting the boundaries, and not showing fear. And if you do sense something, get it dealt with as soon as possible. People sometimes try and do things on their own, and some things you can't do on your own. Something you need somebody to come in and help you to do it for you. Yeah, but speaking of tools, the more tools that you can have in your house, like incense sticks, crystals, sprays, cards, the more it lifts the vibration of the house up as well.
Yeah, well, I covered a little bit of that with one of my chats on my channel with Tony, and he'd had an issue with there was an entity, or it was the last resident in the cabin that they moved to, and he'd been, I think he'd either died there or he was killed there, something like that. I can't remember, but when they moved in, he attached to her, and she'd seen him in a reflection in a car. But then when he did the healing hypnosis on her, she'd asked who the guy was with the red check shirt, and found out it was him, and he was still there, and he'd kind of latched onto her, and then he managed to release him and move him into the light. But also the other thing that they noticed as well was when they started incorporating crystals around the house, because the crystals have been brought in and put into the property, that the vibration of the home had lifted so much that they noticed as soon as the crystals were there, any things that were going on or anything that they couldn't explain stopped happening, because the vibration of the property, like you say, had lifted, and he couldn't maintain that level because he was like, I suppose, a low vibration because of his traumatic death. So yeah, once they'd come in, they noticed everything felt different, everything felt lighter, and the vibration of the home and every room in the house felt lighter.
Yeah, definitely.
So I suppose going on to the beginning of my journey, I suppose, and I learned this from Mark Bayersky's channel, and this was about his lemons. And I did a video on lemons on my channel. I've actually done 2 lemons. One was about like the start of my back to basics videos again, but right back to the early videos, about maybe 3rd or 4th video on my channel, was about lemons, and I learned it from his channel. And I'd used the method. Other people I'd said about this had used the method, and they all found it really effective, because they did find that they had unusual feelings in certain spots around the home, and they couldn't experience it. They couldn't explain it. So I said, right, just get a bag of lemons, place them around all the areas that you feel a little bit unusual or out of sorts, or you get a feeling that there might be something negative there, or you just get a feeling that something is there. Place the lemon there. So that's what I did. So I got some lemons. And what happens with the lemon is, if there is any negativity in the area or in the room, it will either get like a white powdery toxic substance around it, or it will get black spots or go black. And basically that's the lemon is absorbing the negativity from the area to give you, and how Mark describes it, it's like a thermometer for negative energy. Once it does that, it will give you the idea, or it will give the information that you need to cleanse that area with whatever tools you want to use. So yeah, so the people that I'd suggested using the lemons tool, and one of my friends who watched the video as well, one of my friends, her daughter was she's, I think she's like autistic or something like that, or she's on that sort of spectrum, but she was becoming very open to spirit and very aware of spirit, and they didn't really know what was going on. Now I was doing a healing session for somebody else, and they were also having issues with spirit in their house, and they didn't know what was going on. So I was doing the healing session for this guy's wife, and she wanted healing for direction in her life or whatever, and she wanted a tarot reading at the end as well. During the healing session, I had a vision of a set of stairs, and on the side of the stair there was like a hallway, a set of stairs. On the side of the staircase there was a portal, and beings were coming out of this portal. So that was like the entryway. So after the session, I'd phoned them up and I'd said, right, can I describe your hallway to you? Because this is what I saw remotely. And I described everything in detail as best as I could from what I saw in my mind's eye. And they were like, no, that's not our hallway. It doesn't look anything like that. Right, okay, so this is something for somebody else then. So a couple of weeks later, I was talking to a friend who is Reiki trained as well. And we were having this discussion and this information started popping in again. And I'd said to her, right, I said, is this how your hallway is panned out? And she said, yeah, how did you know? I said, right, this information is for you. That's who it's for. I said, right, at the bottom of your stairs, there is a portal and they are coming in through that portal. The exit must be in another room for them to come in and go out and whatever. But I only saw things coming in through that hole, not leaving. So if we talk about portals, what tends to happen is you tend to have an entryway and an exit. There will be two separate. Sometimes you can have one where they go back and forth, but that tends to be, I think, from my understanding, is where people have actually physically opened them using a Ouija board or using a seance or something like that. Then they come in and go out through the same portal. So I suggested to her, right, put some lemons around your home, because everything seemed benign at the time. So nothing seemed to be negative, but there was one night that a daughter woke up screaming about this nasty man in the room. He was all black, very tall, and she couldn't get back to sleep. She was too afraid. So I was like, right, put lemons all around the room, put them all around your home. The only room that the lemons turned white or went black was in the daughter's bedroom.
Yeah.
Right, so there's your signal. I said, you need to cleanse that room, but you also need to make it known to whoever that is that they can't pass that threshold and they must leave out of the window once you've cleansed your area. And again, the same method has worked for other people. Actually, one of my friends, he had a funny feeling in his flat. I'd said about the lemons, and it put them down, and his got all black spots over it as well. So it really does work. And like you say, it's a shamanic tool. And Mark got that information from a shaman as well, from the shamans he visited. So lemons are a vital key to detect negative energy. And it might not even be spiritual negative energy. It may be negative energy from other people, because we all emit an energy. So if you put if you put one like 20 lemons into a pub, you know, and there's all sorts of different people that will go into a pub, and a lot of them go there because of the way that they're thinking, the way they think that the drink is the answer to their problems, and they're emitting this energy, and over time the lemons will change. So it's not just about the spiritual, it's about the actual physical as well.
Definitely. Like lemons and eggs can be used to remove entities as well from people.
I just seen actually the other day there was a post on another spiritual Facebook page about an egg, and they'd used an egg around the body and then put it in glass, and then you have to like read what's going on with the egg. And there was all like these strands coming off it and everything, and I was looking at it and I was just like receiving this information. So I just commented and I was like, so this is what I'm getting, this is what I feel. And she's like, oh my God. And she's like, this is exactly what's been going on, this is exactly how I feel. I've never done that before, ever, never read an egg. I'm just like,
oh yeah, you can read anything. You can read anything. I mean, I know one of the ways with taking the entity, what's say how we do it, because people try and do it, and that's the thing as well. If you're not properly trained in anything like house clearing or entity removal, be careful, because you've got to have a good team of guides behind you. Because what can happen is if whatever you're trying to remove senses that vulnerability, it knows it's got a player. So it may appear that it's gone, but it's just playing with you. So always make sure that anything like you don't try and remove an entity yourself unless you know, because you can actually cause more damage than you can heal yourself. But they can take the energy you use in the lemon, they can take the actual entity themselves, either the lemon or the egg, and you put it in a river and we send it away, not with the flowing. If the river's flowing to you, you don't do that. But if the river's flowing away, that's what you tell the client to do. So they'll drop it in a flowing river that's flowing away from them. So the egg or the lemon is taken away from them.
Yeah.
And then with the intention for it to be dispersed.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the lemons as well, that Mark does say, and what I've said as well, is, you know, don't use it after it's gone white or toxic or black. You know, just you can either put it in earth, dig it into Mother Nature, leave it to just
that's another way as well,
in there, or like you say, put it in water, into the ocean or into a river, and just see it flow away, and also visualize it flowing away from you.
Yeah, and being transported. It's fascinating, isn't there? Just what there is out there in the different ways. The thing is, nobody has to struggle with anything. Nobody has to struggle with anything.
No.
There are so many answers out there and so many tools. I mean, like sage, all kinds of things. We've got a desk full of them here.
I've got like half a bundle here that I've been. I use this before and after sessions, but I put it in like a soapstone bowl, so it doesn't get too hot. It can withstand the heat, and I'll just put the leaves in the bowl and I'll burn the leaves and create smoke. But sage is a really good cleanser of energy.
Yeah, this is mine as well. I think we've got similar bowls. Your bowl was my old bowl. No, right. I don't know. I've got about 4 or 5 of them, all different rooms, but yeah, just a simple sage like this. And I mean, there's videos that tell you how to do it anyway, but it's right round your crown, down, round your arms. Obviously, this isn't lit. Each side, down your legs, down each leg, down the inside of each leg as well. Pass it round your back, and then just to do your room as well. So doing that after you've had visitors, even if it's been the happiest, nicest friend or relative, because everybody brings something, and it's just even if I'm not removing anything, I'm just balancing the energies. It's like, this is the analogy I've got. You know, when your best friend comes in and they have a cup of tea, you wouldn't not wash their cup after they've had their cup of tea because it's your best friend. So why not cleanse your space? It's the same with cleansing your space.
Yeah. And it's the same with me. Like if I ever go out into the matrix or go to work and I come back home, one of the first things I'll do will either be work with sage, or I'll have a salt bath.
Yeah.
Or the water over my head, and have all the salt water in the bath. But make sure I usually use about half a kilo roughly of salt in the water, and that's a really good. And it's usually either Himalayan, or it'll be a mixture of Himalayan and Epsom. I usually use.
Yeah, to clear it off.
And them really, really effective.
Regularly clear your space. If you're worried about something before you can get somebody in to look at it for you. Well, all the time, even if you've had your house healed and blessed, sage in the rooms regular, sage in the house, sometimes even sage in the garden, opening your windows and letting it all with the intention of letting it out. I've always got windows open here. You know, you see houses where they never open their windows and they're just keeping that energy in. Even in winter, open your windows and let that old energy out. Sage in. If you feel poorly, as well, if you've got a virus infection, if you've got, I won't mention it, COVID, or anything like that, cold cough, any kind of it, that actually. You see, you know this. Don't be a div, Claire. Don't be a div. But this is a natural healer for any kind of viral infection. So if you've got any kind of virus, cough, cold, whatever, and you just like some of this and just waft it into your energy field. And just sniff it in and just breathe it in. That helps. And it also, so say you've got a child that comes home from school with a cold or cough, clear the house. That helps to clear out the bacteria.
Yeah, it is.
It might not stop people catching it, but they might not catch it as much, and it'll shift it out quicker. That's a natural COVID healer. And
It's
You
now
know?
proven, hasn't it? You know, that burning sage and smudging your home removes so
Yeah.
like 96% of airborne bacteria in the house. And so not only does it do that in the air, it does it around you, it does it around your energy. I know, like after last week, because we did our video chat and then I did Tony's video chat afterwards. So by the next day, my throat was killing me because I'd talked that much, signed an overactive chakra, which then has led to me getting a bit of a cold and a stuffy nose and what have you. So
Yeah.
the last couple of days, I've just been breathing with sage and working around the throat, breathing it in. And like today, I can really feel it lifting, really feel it lifting.
Yeah. It's just all natural, normal ways of doing things and healing.
Sage. We've talked about lemons. You've talked about sage. Palo Santo, that's another one I like to use.
Palo Santo, sorry, leaning forward. Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah, that's a new. I didn't realize I'd bought a pack, but that's a new pack. Palo Santo.
Yeah.
It might also be called Holywood. Yeah, Palo Santo.
And this is the same technique round everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you've been to doctors, where you've been on your bus, where you've been at work, where you've had visitors, your daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, monthly. Again, it doesn't have to be. You don't feel that I have to smudge my house every day because somebody on YouTube says that. No, you find what works for your house.
Yeah.
Some houses just need it once a week.
Yeah.
Before meditation as well. I always say to cleanse your space before meditating.
Yeah.
Any kind of healing work. People say I don't cleanse my space. You don't need to. I feel as though you do. I think you do. I think you need to make a conscious. This is my space. This is my time. This is what I want it clean.
Yeah.
It's like going to sleep in a rubbish bin. You won't do that, would you?
No, it is. It's about making a conscious effort. And you know, if you do clean your space and you use sage and you're cleansing your room or your home, because you're walking around in it and you create enough smoke anyway, you're also cleansing your own aura as well and your own energy as you're doing it. So it's like a two-way thing. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's unsure on my channel, Reiki Zen, during my back to basics videos, I actually showed you how to sage your room, and I saged this room, and I went back to forth, up and down, diagonally, so the room was just packed full of smoke. Then I just opened the windows, shut the door, left it, and then let it do its thing, but set my intention for anything just to leave that wasn't of a high vibration or wasn't positive for the room. But yeah, I mean, I suppose that is another vital key to our armory is intention. Intention is everything. It really is powerful.
We are powerful gurus. We're so powerful we don't realize it, and we're starting to realize just how powerful we are. Smoke, even away from sage, smoke is really cleansing and powerful. Even so, when I do my fire ceremonies for the healings, the smoke, it's everything, the flame, the smoke, the energy. Smoke cleanses. I know it's obviously you don't want to fire in your house. I'm not talking about that, but like I'm looking. The reason I mentioned it was my incense. I've got incense sticks here, so these are a couple that I'm using at the minute: Dragon's Blood and Karma incense. So I've got these in the office and downstairs for the lounge. And yeah, this just helps to balance your energies. It just helps to bring some zen. You can put them on during your meditations. You can put them on during your healing sessions. You can put them on after you've cleaned. You can put them on for your meditation. You can just have them like people have, like, them plug-in air fresheners. You can have these.
The way I kind of describe them is like once you've cleansed your room and you've cleansed your space, I like to think of incense. And another thing is like sound as well, singing bowls. I like to think of them as they kind of like round off the energy and make it a bit warmer, because sage will get rid of everything. So it will get rid of the bad and the good as well. It just shifts it all out. But it's about bringing it back in and just rounding the energy off and building your energy back up again within your room. So if you do have a sacred space or a therapy room or whatever, because you're working in there constantly, you're doing whatever form of healing you might be doing or meditating, you're bringing that frequency of love, of source, of God, whatever you want to call it, into the room anyway, to lift the vibration of the room. And the incense really helps just to round the corners off a little bit and not have it feeling as kind of I suppose, stark, really, because you do feel a big dip once you've saged. I find when I've saged in this house, and I've been round, and there's nothing negative or anything like that in the home, but even then, like, I'll go around the house, and at the end of it, and I've opened the windows and let it all out, the home feels lighter. The whole atmosphere of the house just feels so much lighter. I can't explain it. I don't know what it does. I don't know how it's doing it. I just know that it works. And so do the lemons. So, you know, these are two crucial keys that we can use to protect our homes and our energy.
Yeah, it's funny you should say that about the sticks, because when I'm getting ready, be it for a video or a Zoom call with a client, even though the client can't, or the people on the video can't see a lot of what I've got going here, I'll always smudge. Or I use Palo Santo, or another thing I'll use is Aqua de Florida, but I'll come back to that. And then I'll obviously light a candle, and then I'll put my incense on. And I do that without even thinking about it. So it must just be just to balance, just to clear it, balance it.
Yeah, I find them incense sticks that you've got, I've got some here. I've been using Divine Karma, and I've got good vibes as well. My favorites that I do use, but I do find them Nag Shankar ones, they make me sneeze. I don't I don't know if there's something, but they really make me sneeze quite a lot. So I've reduced my use of them, but I mean, these ones I really do like. These are the to Lassie, but this is like frankincense, and I like either frankincense or frankincense and myrrh combined, and I find it really, really powerful and really good for either healing work or for meditation, because they're said to work around the third eye and the crown chakra.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm once we move, because I mean, this is what I've got now, and I'm going to pack it away once I've done. Once I move, I'm going to try. I've ordered some of Mark's incense sticks, but I'm going to buy some others, because again, that's another thing as well. Don't always go for the same product, for the same incense sticks.
Yeah.
I mentioned something on a video on my own channel, Thackray, this morning, about when we come from the old 3D matrix into the spiritual community, it's very easy to slip into those old habits of, I use that, make incense, I use that, make crystal, I use that. And because we do that, we get our milk from somewhere, we get the bus at a certain point, everything in the 3D is all very routine. So just spice it up a bit.
Yeah, just trying different things, and in turn, you develop yourself as well, because you start learning different things, and you develop your own way, and you develop your own techniques of healing and protecting yourself. I really like Mark's negative energy cleansing sticks. They're really, really good, and his awakening and protection sticks, they're really good as well. I haven't had any for a while. I do keep telling myself I'm going to get some, but I've really enjoyed working with these for a change. I did have these, and I find they are a bit of a bugger to light and to keep lit and to get the smoke off. But if you keep them lit for long enough, so what I do now, instead of using a lighter, which if it overheats, it'll either just shut itself off or it'll blow up, I'll light a candle.
Yeah, so I do it.
I'll keep putting it in the candle to keep the wood warm, keep the wood hot. Once it's hot enough, blow it out, let the smoke do what it needs to do. It will eventually go out after so long, which is something that Mark sticks don't do. They just continue smoking the whole time. Whereas the actual pure Palo Santo wood, it will start to cool down, and the smoke will go away, and it is a smoke that you need to do that cleansing work.
Yeah. Another way with the Palo Santo sticks is you get the bowl that we've got anyway, see if I can reach it. You get that bowl, and what you do is, you know, the charcoal discs that you can get, we can burn herbs on. You get them on your camera, so you can get them online, and make sure you've got some tweezers with some rubber on, so it's got some rubber tweezers, so you don't, but people would hold it over with hands. That's what we're dealing with sometimes. Got to be careful. So you hold it over the flame, and you set fire. You burn the coal. You give it that embryo light. You put it in your bowl, and then you put the Palo Santo on top of it. And as the coal's burning, a bit like on a barbecue, it keeps with the Palo Santo going for ages afterwards.
Ah, right. See,
yeah, so bowl,
didn't know that. Didn't even think of that.
Slice it either side, just a couple of seconds on each side. Put it in your bowl. Put your Palo Santo on top of it, and it literally just keeps going and keeps going.
Wow, I'll give that a go, definitely. Moving on to my other thing that I talked about sound So like singing bowls,
Yeah.
really good. Again, for what I use is to like raise the vibration of the room, raise the vibration of crystals,
Yeah.
round off the energy in a room, working on your own chakra system, your own energy around your body. And you can feel it. Well, like when I know, like before, I've laid on the floor in here and I've put the singing bowl onto my various chakra points, and I've just hit the ball and let it ring a few times, then moved it. And you can feel the energy moves through your body and you feel it. And things, I don't know, like the first few times I did it, I felt like little pockets of energy moving and like being displaced. And it was like, it was quite weird, but it was good as well. I thought, wow, this is really powerful. There's something going on here. But yeah, the sound is really, really good. And again, I've got like a rain stick as well, which I like to use, a little baby rain stick.
What is it, a rain stick then?
So yeah, so that's another good one that I like to use as well. But I don't use that as much. I tend to use the singing bowl more. But also clapping as well. Clapping's really good.
Yeah. That helps to remove not entities out, but it does, but with other stuff as well. But that can clear energy, clapping around a room.
Because I know that like
laughter as well.
Where it's hard to get to, don't they? Like in the corners of the room. That's why they say to open all your cupboards and get right in there, because things will hide away in the corners. So, but going in, just clapping or ringing the singing bowl, and that noise, they don't like it, and it moves them out.
Definitely. But I don't know. I think you do the same, Eve, because I've got one. I mean, I've only got one again because I'm going to be ordering a lot more stuff when I move. There's no point now. But even in my healing sessions, because I don't film my healing sessions, I just send an email at the end. But I still do things like the singing bowl, be it Reiki. I've got the drum, which I'll show you. So even when people book in for a distance healing session, I'm still doing the stuff that I do if they were there and that intention is being sent to them. So I'll do that if I feel the chakras, or if I feel they need it for some form of healing. Oh, and it's big as this, so excuse me, I might need to get it. I think I can. Right. So this is the drum.
Wow.
It's massive, isn't it? So yeah, I do that to each. I use the drum for the shamanic sessions. So I'll open up with the drumming. Every time I heal something or relieve something, I'll do some drumming to bring some healing, to bring light, to bring clearance, to bring release. I'll close down the healing with the drum as well. When I'm doing the group healings, I'll do drumming. So I do a mixture, channeling, sound, crystals, sage, sprays. I mean, I could have Florida. I use that for my shamanic stuff, or just as a cleanser. Mark sells that as well, doesn't he?
I was just about to say, Mark has that as well. He uses that quite a lot, and he inhales it and breathes it in quite deeply, and then
you just spray it on your hands like that. Rub it in and just visual felt that then. Can you imagine? I will not do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not recommending this. I'm just going to pass on some information, but sometimes you can actually take a thimble, drink a thimble, and if there's anything there, you can vomit it up. I've done that before with somebody. But I am saying this again, it's not something I'm saying you do. I'm just saying it's a different ways that shamanic practitioners can heal and shamans can heal.
They usually like drink it and then blow it into fire, don't they?
Yeah.
Normally do, because it's got alcohol in the actual Is it like rum or something that's in there?
I don't think so. I mean, it might be. I've never really looked. I haven't even got a bottle. I think it's to the side, but yeah.
I'm sure there's something like alcoholic in there and then you use like within fire ceremonies and whatever. But again, like Mark swears by that as well. Really good for cleansing your aura, working on your aura, sweeping it around your aura as well.
This is the beauty as well, I think, of the distance work, because say if a client came here to me, when you're working what I call hands-on to the clients here in this room or in the summer house, when you're working distance, the guides are doing it, you're just holding space and you're channeling it and repeating it back to the client. You're still there and you're still taking part of distance. But when they come into the room and you're with them, you have to take responsibility as well. So I'd have to make salt drinks up for clients to remove entities. Again, this isn't something you do without a shaman or a healer present, but you'd make salt drinks up. So I've made clients sick before, where I've made a big pint of salt water, or they drink a thimble of this, or another way is tobacco. There's tobacco chunks that you get, and they'd smoke that, and it's like, woof. But that's the beauty, and that is why I love distance, because the client doesn't have to go through that. Because if they need to vomit it out or they need to diarrhea it out, that'll happen naturally. Whereas if you go to somebody, in order for them to do it, they'll have to bring it up like that.
Wow.
So I've had treatment like that where I've had salt drinks and
powerful stuff.
Projectile vomiting.
Boom.
Boom.
What's next on so I've got a few crystals here, which I thought, and I know you've got a few there as well, but one of the first ones that I like to use is Tektite, which is really good for absorbing negativity. And again, this was off Mark's website, and I managed to get this through my local crystal store in town, and they didn't have any in the cabinet. Eventually they managed to get some in, and the first piece that I got was a little teensy wincy little piece. And then I went back in again a few weeks later, and she's like, oh, we've got some more Tektite in. And I was like, all right. And then I saw this, I was like, wow, it's like a wand of Tektite. So I actually, at the end of distance healing sessions now, what I will do, so that's my little man that I use. I will actually sweep the aura of the person over the paper, and visualize anything negative being whisked away with the Tektite from their aura. And also what Mark says about this is it doesn't need to be cleansed, it just transmutes it and sends it out into the ether. And to be honest with you, I've never felt the need to cleanse it myself. Sometimes I'll work with a crystal, I'll be like, it's going to need some work doing on that, or it's going to need like either cleansing, or it needs to go into the moonlight or the sunlight just to give it some more energy. But with them, when I've worked with them, they've always been really, really powerful.
I'm going to get some Tektite.
They are really good for healers, especially if you do a lot of contact healing, like one-to-one. Then, like you say, if they're coming into your home, or you go into them, and if they do have a lot of negative energy around them, then the Tektite is really good just to ground you and protect you from anything.
Another way of doing it, I've got stuff on my shelf here. I use a lot of selenite, so you can get palm stones.
That was my next. I've got a selenite ball.
Snap.
Yeah.
Another way you can do it is you hold it in your hand and you go like that. So that'd be part of your channeling. Or whichever hand you feel comfortable. Again, people say you've got to have it in this hand, or you've got to have it in that hand. Whatever hand you feel comfortable with. Everyone's different. I did a lot of that one in my last group healing, where part of my channeling was just to sit like that and just send out what they needed. I'd do it with a rose quartz as well. I'm a big fan of rose quartz.
Rose quartz is good.
Amethyst, clear quartz, lapis lazuli, which I'll try and get without knocking everything over, which I always do. Lapis lazuli as well. That's good for your third eye.
That's good for third eye.
Do you know, it feels quite, I love that cold. It's proper cold, is that? And it feels lovely. Selenite, that's good for third eye. So it's just having a play around and finding out what works for you.
And in some of my crystal meditations, like when I'm doing crystal meditation, I'll say to the person to use their, now if you're Reiki trained, you know which is your dominant hand, because it's your hand it's like your leading hand, it's your warmest hand. And 95% of the time it will be the hand that you use to write and do everything with as well. But sometimes your dominant hand can actually be the opposite hand. But again, like you say, everyone's different and everyone's unique. So I say, when they're doing the meditation, to just sit and hold the crystal in their dominant hand, and then do the visualizations and what have you, whatever comes through during the meditation. But yeah, whatever feels comfortable for that person. And I like to use the selenite as well, just to sweep up and down, up down the chakra system in sort of a snake-like fashion, go around the body, up and down the legs, or even just sit with it. You don't have to move it around your aura, because the crystal itself is expanding its energy into your energy field. So it's working on your energy anyway as you hold it. So as you hold it in, say, your lap, or just in your hand, or if you have it in a pocket or a handbag or under your pillow, it's still in connection with your energy field, because your energy field goes out about 4 to 6 feet, even though you can't see most of it. And it's constantly working on that energy field. So even if you have them just close by on a bedside unit, bedside table, and I know like you do, I do, they are constantly, it doesn't matter about the size of the crystal. It isn't bigger is better. You know, you can have really tiny pieces of moldavite, which are absolutely amazingly powerful. And you know, that's another crystal I like, or piece of glass that I like using, is moldavite as well, for protection, and also for like awakening as well, and awakening the power in the different chakras.
Yeah, definitely. And just play as well. Mark mentions about sometimes crystals have a lifespan, and you'll get a crystal and you'll be like, wow, this crystal's really powerful and it feels amazing. And then all of a sudden one day you'll pick it up and you'll be like, oh, it's changed. It's not what it used to be.
Yeah, I don't feel,
it's done for you. Sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So again, don't always use the same crystals. You
As
know,
well as a sign to gift it onto somebody. You know, if you feel that the crystal's lost its use for you, you've taken what you need from that crystal. So then it's time for you to send it on to someone and gift it to someone. You know, and that's a really lovely gesture, not just for the person, but for the crystal as well, because the crystal it's constantly working with whoever it's been with, but it's done what it needs to do for your energy.
Yeah. And as well, if you have a crystal and you break it, or it explodes, or you drop it and you smash it, or it gets chipped, and you think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? My crystal's broke. A lot of the time when they've taken what they need to take and they finish, they'll explode or they'll crack.
Yeah.
So be at peace with that as well. So just bury it in the garden. I mean, again, if all of a sudden this crystal stopped working, but I knew that, I mean, you talk to it and you want to get passed on. No, I don't want to get passed on. Bury it, send it back to the earth.
Yeah.
Bury it in the garden.
Yeah.
And then go back. But that's the same. I mean, I have a bust. It's downstairs. It's from Metatron. It's about that big. And I got the first one Gary got me it. And was it last year? I can't remember. I think it was the year before. I don't know how it happened, but it ended up smashing on my mantelpiece. And it just went boom. And I was wounded. And I was like, oh my God, why is my Metatron? Why is it smashed like that? And he came straight in and he said, it's like the crystals. In the bust I had, his wings were down. It was stood. And the one I've since replaced it and bought another one, and his wings are up and he's ready to fly. And he said, when you got that, you were still on the beginning of your path, but now you need to, your wings are. So it was a symbolism, if that makes sense.
You're starting to fly.
Yeah. So that had absorbed all it needed, and then it needed to go.
Yeah. And like you said, these things happen with intention from the universe as well. You know, they do just they happen for a reason, and there's a reason that things stop working for you. So I mean, there might come a day where I just don't feel drawn to crystals. I can't see it ever happening, but if it ever does, it's basically a sign to say you've taken all you can from it. It's time to learn something new, or dip down another path or whatever. But at the moment, crystals are just absolutely amazing, and they still amaze me. And there's still so much that I need to learn.
Definitely.
But it's just a continuous journey for anyone who's out on this path. So what have we got next? So we've done sage, we've done singing bowl, we've done the lemons, Palo Santo, crystals.
I'll share this just before, so I don't forget. But I mentioned this to clients before. This is Metatron's cube. And you can get different symbols in this form. It's made of wood. You can get flower of life. And what I do is, this can be used, you know, if you've had toxic reactions to any kind of medical tablets or jabs, or you've eaten a toxic food, or you've got toxic overload, or you just want to cleanse yourself. This is what you do. You get Metatron's cube, you put it on your windowsill, and you fill a glass jug of water with a lid on, so nothing can swim around and go into it. So I've got a jug, a water bottle with crystals down the middle. I place it on top of that, so that charges it up, and I place it in the sun or the moon with the intention for protection, with the intention for healing, the intention for release. But you can also do it for side effects of jabs. And that's really important that gets out there, because this came up in a healing session for a client where Metatron used that. And what he did was he sent it down the client and back, down the client and back. And when I had my own, because I made no bones about it, I did get jabbed up at the beginning. This is what Metatron used on me, because I had a reaction to it. And he got the cube, and he drove it straight down my body, and he drove it back, up, down, and literally within 20 minutes, I was from a nervous wreck, shaking, feeling sick, metal head, everything. I was fit as a fiddle. And I'll put that there. People are always saying, what do we do about the jab? What do we do about the jab? I've had the jab. I didn't want it at the time. I didn't realise. The reason why I had to have it was for my insurance for the spa. Because we were told we wouldn't be able to do massages and stuff if we didn't get jabbed up.
Yeah.
And I do regret it, but I've learned how to look after myself with it, and that is vital. Water, cleansing, Metatron's cube, down the body, back, down the body, back.
Yeah. And I think that's another vital tool that the people could be aware of as well, with regards to protection and their own healing, is, you know, just having either, even if they don't know the guides, but having intention and communication with them, and just ask for, you know, spiritual help from the spirit guides for the highest good, or even call in various archangels or angels that they might need to have assistance with for their healing, because they have such a powerful, profound effect. And I found that just when I feel called to include angelic healing and protection within sessions, I've found that they do, not only for myself do I seem to receive and feel a lot more information, but for the recipient as well, that they seem to get a much better experience because of the protection and the healing that comes on from either Michael, Metatron, or Raphael, or whoever gets called in for those sessions. So, you know, just calling in, even if you don't know who your spirit guides are, or what angelic beings or archangels you need for various things, just calling in white light, calling in source, calling in God, whatever your definition of it, and it all resonates at that frequency of high vibration light, and just filling it into areas that you feel unease, you know, and just sit with it, meditate with it, visualize it, see it going into areas. And you know, do you remember a few weeks ago when I was having really bad indigestion?
Yeah.
And I managed to get some stuff from the doctors, and I've been stopped using, and it was a omeprazole that they gave us, and it said, you know, it'll keep you going and what have you, but he said once that wears out, it'll probably start up again. And anyway, probably about maybe 2 weeks ago, it started coming back again, and I was like, oh, here we go again. So anyway, I called in white light, and I called in Michael, and I called in Raphael, and I asked for Raphael to put his hand into where this is causing me an issue and just resolve whatever is going on. And I've never had an issue since. From any indigestion whatsoever. I might have belched, I might have had a bit of wind, but I've had no burning sensation. I've had no crippling sort of anything go, because sometimes I was feeling it right through into my back. It was right through my middle, and it was really, really bad. And I cannot go on like this. And I mean, before I started on the tablets and stuff that they gave us, I couldn't eat. I just didn't want to eat, because I thought it's just going to set me off. So I didn't eat properly or anything really, apart from maybe fruit, for about 3 days. because it was bad. But I had the tablets, finished them. About 2 weeks later, it started kicking off again. And if I do ever feel a twinge of it, I'll just ask again. Coming back, can you just put white light there, and just ask for some spiritual protection just to come in, just to lift it up.
And they always will as well. And there's never any judgment. So, because we've got clients and many are on different forms of medication, many have had jabs. We've all had jabs. I used to work in NHS. In order to work in NHS, you have to be jabbed up to the max. But there's ways and means of getting through it, and there's ways and means of cleansing the body. And I think it's important to get that out there, that even if you've got a history of using medication, your body can still rectify itself. And I think in the spiritual community, they really dumb down the body. You mustn't do that, and you mustn't do this. And your body's really clever.
Yeah.
Your body can really deal with a lot more than we give it credit for.
Yeah.
Yes, you may feel a few of the side effects, but because our body's made up of so much water, and you can reprogram water. If you go, God, you're going to be ill with the jab, you're going to be ill with the jab, you're going to be ill with the jab, you'll be ill with the jab.
Ill with the jab. Yeah. It's the same as like when people say, and they'll put it on Facebook or whatever, oh no, I've got COVID. And it's like, it's those three words that put so much fear into everybody now because of, remember, seeing people laid on the streets in China, dead on the floor and what have you. And those images, it's straight away people just put that and that together. Oh no, I've got COVID, you know. And I had COVID about a month or two ago. I ached for a couple of days and I had a buzz, and that was it. And I've not had anything. I've not any jabs or anything. So
you should. I mean, I was always taught that. I was taught that when you've got cold or any kind of, you see it all the time. People taking photos of the cuts and of their accidents and of their operations, and photographs of babies they've lost. I've seen that. I've seen that. I've seen people doing that. And when you do that, you just add more energy to it. So if you put on, I feel so shit, I've got a cold, straight away people jump on it because they love it, and you'll just amplify that cold. And it scares people. I'm a sick phobic. I can't, being sick, I've got issues with vomiting. And if I see somebody, if I'm feeling good on Facebook and someone puts on, I've got DMV, it literally, the fear in my body is like, oh, because it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
And it's the same with operations. People taking pictures of themselves and having chemotherapy and putting it on. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How do you know that somebody's not actually stood in a waiting room, sat in a waiting room, waiting to go in for some results, and they're greeted with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you're just sending that darkness out there. So illness is private, illness is sacred, and illness should, I feel, be dealt with in a sacred, holistic manner. You can use tablets, you can use, but it's got to be dealt with respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is all about mind over matter, because like you said before, we are more powerful than we give ourselves credit for, and than a lot of people understand. And it is coming to fruition now where, people are starting to actually think themselves better, basically. There was somebody that I'd read on a post, and they had cancer, and it was stage 4, and there was no chance of recovery. They weren't going to do any sort of medication. It was just basically a case of they're just going to basically frazzle away, and that would be it. But he actually healed himself through meditation, through changing his mindset, changing his thought processes, and just thinking himself better. And it's like you said before about how 85% of us is water. And when you look at pictures of microscopic images of water and the values of water when it's being next to either a positive person, a negative person, Wi-Fi, 5G, all various different scopes of how water has reacted, and you see from being next, just as it is natural, next to a positive person who's light and what have you, they're very, very similar. And as you go further down the line, they become more and more unnatural. You lose all the images of them. It was a little bit like like when you see a snowflake and you see like a perfect snowflake, and you see all the little lines and little arms coming off. Well, when you saw the one next to the negative person or the 5G or the Wi-Fi, it was all like distorted and it was all like funny shapes. Just like, my God, is that what? And that's what it's doing to people's bodies. However, switching that mindset and changing it around, and instead of putting that energy out there, just doing affirmation meditations are so powerful. I am healthy, I am love, I am deserving of love, I am of high vibration, and having these positive affirmations really do help you raise your vibration and help your resonance within.
Yeah, that's why I'm always careful. Like you mentioned that video you watched yesterday, I won't mention the channel. And I've watched these videos before, but I've got to be careful because I think sometimes if you watch too much of that stuff, I think you can actually really breathe it and it can make you feel ill.
Yeah.
And it can actually have the opposite effect. I think to awaken, I think be educated and know that there's a lot more going on. But if you're sat there going, oh my God, what happened in 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11? Oh, Diana. Oh my God. You let yourself ill.
It's exactly the same as what the mainstream media is doing. It's exactly the same frequency because it's brainwashing, you know. So if you sat watching someone on YouTube for however long and thinking, oh my God, well, the statistics are being shown this and the facts and all this stuff's now coming out. And I've had this and I've done that. Oh my God, it's going to affect me in all these different ways. And again, it's this mindset, it's this thinking, you make yourself think that you're going to be a lot worse than what you really are. And a lot of that as well, that vibration of thinking that we put out there is the reason why we need to turn to our tools to see what's going on around us, because we can create that negative environment just by being in a home, bombing around the walls, doing whatever we do day in, day out. All these negative thoughts and negative scenarios and whatever might be going on, and then your lemon's gone black and you have to think, oh my God, why is that gone black? You're like, you've created that, you've created your own environment.
So like you said, we've gone one form of from mind control and brainwashing straight into another, and that's what I always say about being careful, because a lot of people feel that awakening is just, you know, the latest conspiracy theory or global truth. It's a lot more than that, because that to me, you can be sat on that computer and you could know so much that would just turn my hair grey, but actually spiritual and growing and healing and, you know, purple pill teaching and all that kind and duality, no chance. And they end up going further and further and further. So tools like this help you to cleanse yourself, and boundaries, spiritual boundaries as well.
That's another thing actually which we haven't really talked about, and about putting a spiritual boundary up and you know, protecting ourselves before, like you were saying, when because we text quite regularly, don't we, and you were saying how you had to go into the matrix and deal with whatever. What is your routine before you go out and you have to deal with, you know, the normal the dead behind the eyes folk? How do you deal with that? You know, what do you do?
How I deal with it is I'll meditate before if I can. I'll call in my guides. I'll always put my protection on. White light, you can use Thackray symbol as well, white light. You can use all kinds of things, whatever works for you. Might put on some crystal jewelry, which I've not got on because I've left it at the washing up sink downstairs, but anyway. But one of the things I've started using, and I've got some of these sprays on my desk to show you, is I get these from Angelic Celestial Colours, and the oil sprays, so they're for your aura. And this one's Archangel Michael, and it's communication and safety. So I don't use it for safety. What I use this for is, say if I'm going for a meeting, or I've got to go for a test, or I've got to go, I don't know, you've got to go for your driving test, or you've got to go shopping, Christmas shopping, and you just need a little bit of inner strength. You just spray it around your aura like this, close your eyes, and it's done. And literally, I can tell the difference between going out with that spray and not going out. No, I can go out without it. And again, that's the thing with tools. Don't get to a point where you can't go out without a certain crystal or a spray. So, say like I said to you, I went to the doctor yesterday for a test and I just sprayed that, and that actually got me through it.
It smell of?
It's got in, let me read what it's got in. Has she put it on? No, she's not put it in. See if I can. So I bet you, can you smell it? I know that sounds stupid, but people can smell. No, you can. I'll send you the smell. I'll send you the smell. I think on a new bottle that she's got.
Does it smell woody?
Yeah, it's woody.
Woody.
It's like.
Is it like Palo Santo sort of smell?
It's like, yeah, it's like wood, Palo Santo. I mean, this isn't what's in it. Sagey, it's earthy, and it's very manly. It's very manly. Look, obviously it's Michael.
Is it a bit like patchouli? Is it like patchouli?
Yeah. You see how you can send it on to you. But she does do a whole range. I mean, I've got a throat chakra spray that I'll use before videos or before clients. And there's Soul Star energy spray.
I'm interested. Oh, where'd you get them from?
It's Angelic Celestial Colours. So it's Amanda Ellis, Angelic Celestial Colours. I'll put the link beneath it.
Yeah.
And this one is Archangel Metatron White Light Merkaba Energy Spray. So say you want to sit down and do some channeling, or you just want some white light around you. Again, do you know what? I've got to go to Wazda. So you sit in your car and you just go, I've got to go to Wazda. White light. Boom, done. You go into Wazda with white light. And there's fire. I mean, she does loads. She does chakra sprays, all kinds of different sprays. Got quite a few. New dawn, sunrise. So say you wanted a new start, I'd spray that in, and they're really helpful. I take some to bed as well, so I'll spray some on before I sleep as well.
Is it like a mixture of? It's obviously like essential oils.
Yeah, it's essential oils, obviously essential oils, water, and she uses crystals as well. So the birthing ceremony.
It's an oil and water mix, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
It's not something that's done in a factory.
No.
It's all legit. It's not dark. It's not. You can't buy it off Amazon. You buy it directly from the website, and each bottle's £20.20. And I think it's a bargain actually, because they last weeks.
Yeah.
Fire. She does air elemental, earth elemental. She does a grounding spray. So say you're getting a bit anxious, a grounding spray. I mean, again, you don't need to use them, but they're all tools. If I was going to be doing hands-on clients as well, I'd have them in my little area as well, my surgery, my treatment room. That's the old Claire coming through. Yeah, because you had a Reiki client, and you could just spray each chakra with the chakra sprays.
Yeah,
By the way, I'm not asked to do this by Angelic Celestial Colours. I'm just sharing it, and in fact, I do actually use them for clients, but I'll spray it on myself with the intention of sending it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, you can spray your throat chakra with it if you want. This is a throat chakra spray.
Yeah, I know. I had the intention of sort of, because I did get quite a few different oils, and I was going to try and create sort of like a blend of my own, and I never got around to it in the end. I just enjoyed using them as they were, and I just had I have like a base oil that I use them with, and just use them either on myself or give myself like a massage or put them on my back. But yeah, I mean, yes, some oils are really good for that sort of thing as well, for protection.
Yeah.
Rosemary is supposed to be really good to put at your front. I think it's your front door, rosemary.
Yeah.
Rosemary at your front door, and it stops anything negative coming in. And if anything negative does come in, it transmutes it into positive.
Yeah. So sea salt as well. Sea salt around your house, around your boundaries.
Yeah.
You can put it in 4 corners of your room. You can put it around your room. I put mine around the house, the gate, the walls. Put it on top of the walls. Coarse sea salt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
another tool. I'm going to show. Did I show you this? A moon diary.
Yeah, we talked about that in one of the videos.
This is really helpful as well for knowing the cycles of the moonlight. It's got a piece on enters Taurus on the 20th, and each day tells you what's coming. Because sometimes you can forget. You can forget. Oh my God, it feels like full moon this week. You go on and it's full moon.
Yeah.
And you've got like new moon wishes you can do. So you can use it as a diary, or you can just use it as I do it, as just a moon diary.
Yeah.
And there's loads of different companies that do that. But this helps you to keep abreast of what's happening planetary wise, and it also, and this is diagnoses, it also gives you a feel for the year ahead, energies, eclipses, it goes through your eclipses, phases of the moon, it goes through each phase. So it's all things to educate yourself with. The seasonal cycles, when all the dates are, and that's it, the year ahead. So it tells you about the energies for each year.
It's really interesting because I know like a lot of people like to use the lunar cycles for their, I suppose, cleansing rituals and the rituals that they want to work with. So, you know, if people do get a bit lost and aren't sure when, then start using a lunar cycle or do something like that. So once a month, with a full moon or a new moon, whatever it is, and work on your intention of what you want to do with the energy in your home, with the energy in your space. And then after that, you know, once you start doing that, what I do now, it's kind of intuitive, really. I'll just get a feeling. I'm just like, I haven't done it for a while. It's about time to do one. And yeah, just work on the energy. But, well, I mean, other things that we can do without even needing any tools to remove negative energy is, you know, going into nature, go for a walk, go to the beach, go and sit next to a tree, you know, and just meditate, or, you know, just sit by water, listen to the water, and just visualize anything, just floating in the water. But yeah, I mean, just getting outdoors is a really, really good way of just transmuting anything that you might be feeling negative about, and letting nature deal with it and get rid of it.
Yeah. Hobbies as well: crafting, painting, reading, baking, cooking.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get into spiritual stuff and forget there's so much more. That's why I like Unexpected Gypsy. That channel, I found her through you, because she's blessed to both worlds. You know, she's into nature, you know, she's into the spiritual, esoteric, she's into journaling, she's into painting or artwork, living. And I just think, you can, you know, a little bit of everything helps us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually want to, I keep saying when I move, but when I move, I want to do one of those art journals. I do have journals, and I'll share those with you. So journaling, I'll put those down. Actually, I was going to share these shamanic tools, but I don't know, shall I? I will do in a minute. I've got too much on here now. Journaling. I mean, again, there's no right or wrong way. This is just a plain writing journal, okay? But you can do art journals where you do little drawings, you do little intentions. But it's a great way of getting all your thoughts and all your noise out of your head onto a pad.
Yeah.
And it helps to give direction. You can use tarot cards as well. So on a night, you can pull yourself a card to say, what guidance can I have for today? And, you know, say the Fool card comes out, you write what comes out on your diary, on your journal. I also do a year one, where each month I write down the month, and I write down the plans for each month and what I want to achieve from that month, what I want to release from that month. Then halfway through, I'll revisit it, and then at the end, I'll go back and I'll cover it all. Now, did I do this? What could I have done better? What did I succeed on? And actually, it's a great way of knowing that you actually are achieving something during the year.
Yeah.
Because you look back and you go, God, I wanted to do that, and I've actually done more than that. I've bossed it. Yeah.
It's a great way of putting that message out to the universe as well. What you want to achieve. I mean, you can think things, you can put things into thought and send them out into the universe, but actually writing them down and making it a physical, it's almost like a physical contract to yourself to say that this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to achieve, and being in that right vibration and dealing with the negativity will get you onto that level of vibration that you need to attract all that positive and all the positive things to come from it.
Yeah, definitely. They're all just simple tasks. Again, journals, you can get them anywhere, any shop, supermarket, any online. You can get them off Amazon if you want. That's a swear word. It's not a swear word, really.
It doesn't have to be like a fancy binded book. It can just be like a cheap exercise book or whatever that you get for school.
Exercise book. It can just be a drawing pad, anything really. Just writing down And I think as well, because of the tablets and the computers and the phones, I think we've lost the beauty of writing. We always want to be typing or thumbing, but really just sat down writing. Or you can do journals where it's painting and you're doing little,
Yeah, because I find like when you are doing stuff on a tablet or on a phone or you're typing, you're too easily distracted by so much else that's going on that screen. That you lose that kind of focus and intention that you need in that moment. Whereas if you are there and you're present and you're writing and you're channeling your thoughts and whatever's coming through that you want to achieve or get rid of or move into or whatever it may be, being in that process it's very rewarding, because you're actually there, you're present with it, and then you start seeing things happening and unfolding because you've been present and you've put it down there and you've put the intention into it.
Yeah, well, they're all really easy to build in. I mean, you don't have to do everything on a day. You don't have to do it'd probably be impossible to sit down and use all your sprays, but to be quite honest, you can use it all without even realizing you're doing it. Quick spray before you go out to work. I always say shove a crystal in your bra or your wallet or on your wrist, or meditation. You can use it, and it starts to flow, and it starts to get easier and easier to be able to fit it in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope this has helped some people. I hope this has given people an idea of what we do and how we work with things and how we deal with negative people or negative situations or energies or whatever we might come into contact with. But it just gives you a little bit of an idea of things that are available that you can work with. I mean, if you're not trained in any sort of level of healing, then you don't need to be. You know, you can go into nature, you can use nature, you can use so many different things that are readily available to deal with that energy, with that vibration that you need to work on.
Yeah. And it's also about talking to each other, watching videos like this and getting ideas, and it's not copying, but just getting ideas. Because you may have heard of journaling and thought, what is journaling? Then you think, oh, it's just writing down my thoughts, writing down my fears, writing down my successes, and it's just all pulling it all in.
Yeah, absolutely. All lovely little different tools that we can use along the way. I don't even know what our next video is going to be about now, because we've worked through our list.
I don't know. We'll have a think.
I'm sure we'll think of something.
Yeah, we'll have a think. If you want to book a session with either of us, a Reiki session with Ian, shamanic session with me, land blessing, and our websites are below, so have a look and see what resonates.
Yeah, absolutely.
And our other individual personal YouTubes are below as well, so subscribe to there as well, please.
Yes, you'll do all the technical stuff. I just turn up. And then you do all the fancy bits with the links, because you're good at that. Although I wrote quite a bit on the last one, didn't I? I did a bit of description and writing, and then you put all the links and things down, the important bits. So
I was like, woof, he's done a bit of a spiel here.
Yeah, it was almost like an essay, wasn't it?
I'm a lot writer
here. Right, okie dokie. Well, we shall do that. I hope everybody's found this interesting and informative. And see all the links below. Follow our channels if you feel drawn to. Until the next time, we'll see you then.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.